Hey there, this is Leo, and today I just want to be talking about I want to make this video to talk about my experience recently when I went and visit on Wednesday. Right, today is May 18. That was on May 16, 2 days ago. I went and visit California capital in Sacramento, and what I was doing is basically I'm part of the board on the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in my community, and they belong to the California Hispanic Chamber. So the California Hispanic Chamber was putting together this event, right? Opportunity for other chambers affiliated to the California Hispanic Chambers to come to Sacramento and basically advocate for our small communities, right? Or for local communities. And so they put this together, right? We met up at the convention center in Sacramento, and the first workshop that we're going through, that we're doing, is about best practices and information about becoming certified to work with the government, right? The procurement type of procurement area, right, of becoming certified with the government. Now they started this. They started this with a stats over here says that California has 3.9 million small businesses, mostly in the U.S., but yet only 25,830 forms are certified small businesses, and 2,043 are certified as disabled veteran business enterprises, DVBE. So that's a big difference, right? 4 million, almost 4 million small businesses that they're identified in California, but yet only about 26,000 are certified small businesses, and about 2,043 are certified disabled veteran business enterprises, and the reason why is because, by the way, I think these are stats from a government entity called what is it called? A DGS. That's how they call it. Stands for Department of General Services. This is one of the local, one of the government entities that were there to represent or to provide information about what they do to award contracts to small businesses. Right? They do have the procurement division where basically they have a database where you can go and register as a small business or disabled veteran business and be able to put bids on different works and be able to see what a list of different contracts that are available, right, by the government. And keep in mind, these are big contracts. I mean, one of the smallest one, I think it started at 5,000, and then for small businesses, I think it has a limit to close to 300,000, I believe, or $250,000, and then obviously anything beyond that is for bigger businesses, or considered bigger business. So let's say here, it says other stat that they got is that the state awarded about $8.6 billion in state contracts in the fiscal year of 2016 and 2017. So 8.6 billions. There's a big potential there in California, right, to make money by getting to work with the government in closing these contracts. But again, other stuff that I heard in there is that there's a lot of work. That's some of the concerns that I heard from the business owners. Yet, yes, they gave us great information in reference to best practices and what to do, but all the concerns that I heard from business owners then at the end and questions is that some were about the insurances are too high, and some were that I think that the people that oversees the contracts are called primes or primers. I can't remember, a word like that, and obviously, nobody likes change. So it's very hard for these people overseeing the contracts to change, and they usually continue working with the same companies, right? I mean, once you get your foot in the door, you know what to do. As long as you keep all your certifications, all your licenses, everything good standards. Once you set your foot in the door, you're there basically for a long time. And I'm sure that you're supposed to basically switch and back and forward. But I mean, that's where you can create opportunity for your business, right? By being there, getting in there, and start learning little by little, and start letting the paperwork little by little, and see what happens, right? Uh, so let me go over some more key points that I learned from it, right? The DGS personnel and some other panelists that were there. I think there was one representing the high speed rail awarding contracts as well. Lady represented from there, and there was another representative from. So there was a lady representing a DGS branch, and right, the Department of General Services, and there was another lady, other lady represented some other entity, but I can't remember. And they provided great information, right? One of them started saying that best practices to win government contracts is to get educated on the government needs, right? It's not just about demanding to get awarded. It's not just about you giving your basically business card and saying, "Hey, here I am. I can do this for you," but actually listening to their needs, see what they are, right? Getting certified, of course. I think DGS has a procurement section where it guides you about getting certified as a small business, and actually to register on their site to be able to see the list of contracts that are available, and to actually get on the list as well, right? For people to find you, for these government entities to be able to find you. Let's see what else I got here. So it was talking about setting up keywords properly to be found. So I guess when you go in there, you gotta set up a profile, and depending on what you do, what your specialty is, how you can help. If you set up keywords right for when government entities are finding a need, you'll be able to come up right on top. So the website is, I believe, www.dgs.ca.gov/PD for procurement, or maybe on the search bar you may want to search for procurement, or if you go Google and it says DGS General Services Procurement Division or something like that, you probably come across the main procurement website where you can go and register for the DGS certifications, right? The department, what is it? The Department of General Services. Right, so setting up the keywords. Another thing that they were talking about is that payment is slow. This was a big one that they touched on. The payment can be slow. A lot of time the small businesses don't do the research, and they don't take that in consideration, and perhaps they may get a big contract, but can you survive? I think that we're talking about be able to survive 4 to 6 months, right? Be able to still put food on your table, and deliver services, and be able to meet payroll of your employees. Oh. Something gave me allergies. Right, so take that in consideration. 4 to 6 months to get paid. So I can see how it can be a struggle. Find other businesses that are certified and get their experience. So this one that talks basically about going out there and network with other businesses that are already certified. Learn from their experience, right? What advices can they give you that you can take from, or perhaps guidance, or perhaps mentorship from them, right? All right, so mentorship from them, and that's great points that they were providing. Great learning experience, definitely. Let's see if they have any other questions that they stand out from the notes that I took. What helps you make decisions? So they were asking the representative, the panelists, right? They present these entities that make decision to, or not that makes decision, but come across, right, these situations all the time. What helps them make decisions? What advice do they give about what helped them make decisions, the people making the decisions about awarding these contracts? So it says that address questions of the bid before start adding services, meaning really research what the bid is about, right? make sure that you are able to meet those needs, that you are able to do that, what is asked on bid, and before you start adding any other services like selling features, right? Like as a doctor, imagine you just coming in and then the doctor start prescribing you medication without actually listening to your needs, and then start telling all this beauty, all these wonderful effects about the medications, yet they don't even know your problem. So the same situation applies to you as a business owner, right? If you're gonna get into this, and for any of us as business owners, let's stop selling features, right? Let's start more focusing on doing a proper assessment of our clients and listen to their needs. So address the questions that are being asked on the bids before starting adding any services. I like that, what they're saying was really important. Let's see, the procurement division statewide contracts looks at lowest responsible bidder. So I guess one of the keys that they look for is the lowest bid to take into consideration. I don't know. I haven't been into this process, but I thought it was very important to come back and share with everybody, just to know that there what exists out there, right? What else is out there? Most of this. The other lady was from Caltrans. So most of this. Most of these entities, they were Caltrans high speed rail, right? The project to do the high speed rail here in California, and the Department of General Services. Most of them probably looking for trade services, right? Engineers and some other ones. IT, I'm sure there were some. But I don't have a full list. I haven't registered to the site. I don't have a full list of see what kind of contracts are being awarded. To let you know, to be able to tell you with confidence if you are in this industry, go and sign up because they have contracts. I haven't checked it out yet, but definitely make a search on your browser for DGS procurement site, and make an effort to register to see what type of contracts are awarded, right, by the government or by the state of California. So done is they really, one of the things I looked for the best is the most is obviously the lowest bidders. Then another thing they look for the most is obviously making sure that you don't exceed the dollar amount being asked or the dollar amount set on the bid. Obviously, if you go way too high, if you go above that, I'm sure they're probably just gonna be overlooking at that without reading anything else, right? Because they have a budget they gotta work with. Look at last awarded jobs to keep dollar amount around the same. So if you are able to have the research other jobs, similar jobs that have been awarded in the past, right? It can make notice of the dollar amount that has been awarded so that you stay around the same, right? So if you, for example, have done a specific type of job multiple times and you know what kind of it's costing you to do that, it's the same thing as what it's saying here, right? Do your research to see what other similar jobs has been done in the past and see the prices, so that you can know that you can stay around the same price that you're gonna be offering. Something gave me allergies. I don't know if it's the dog or the cat. So I apologize if I'm sounding here constipated or congested. Look at, let's see, go to website of entities to see their needs. So in the website they say all this information is public of what the bids are and what their needs are. So again, it goes back to research, right? Go back to research and see what their needs are. It says that Caltrans has subcontractor training. Not sure what it means by that. I gotta do some more research. How do biz will Caltrans trainings? How to do business with Caltrans training. I guess Caltrans has their own training on how to do business with them. So it even gives you some kind of a little bit of directions what what is expected of you as a business owner applying for these contracts or bidding for these contracts. Building relationships with primes, that's sales. So these are, they were saying, right, these are entities, but yet there are people, the ones that are overseeing this process, right? It's not something that you submit a bid, and machines are the ones that are going to be reviewing it. No, there's our people. They're called primes. They're the one that oversees these contracts, and so they were great about building. They were definitely mentioning about building relationships, right? Being out there in the community with. I heard stories about companies that win this bid by being out there in the community for everything related of that specific entity. Uh, in order for them to also, right, not just do good in the community, but also at the same time be able to establish relationship with specific government entities that they wanted to work with. So building relationships is something that's stressed in there. Proposal needs to be completed. Obviously, right, if you're gonna submit a bid or request for a proposal or a response, RFP or request for a proposal, right, responding to their needs, make sure it's complete, right? Make sure it's providing the information that they are asking, that they're looking for in reference to services. So make sure to get that completed. It's very, common sense. Read and understand the contract. What they mentioned about this one, that read and understand the contract, is that for this type of contracts, it's worth it to have somebody review it with you. I mean, $5,000 contracts still, I'm sure you'll be able to find a lawyer that can help you read the contract, and obviously for the bigger jobs, definitely, right. When you go into the 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, even the millions, definitely, right. They were recommended to understand the contract, get lawyers involved, make sure that everything that is stipulated in the contract, that you are able to deliver and that you're able to cover yourself, your business. Just because, right, you get into the process, you get awarded a contract, but then something fails, like you really not being certified for something specifically, don't have a specific license, all that type of stuff, even though you get awarded a contract, can terminate the contract and obviously leaving you with debt, right? Because perhaps you already pays payroll or bought materials. So this type of stuff is important, that you understand the contract, or if you don't like doing that, at least hire somebody that can help you go through the contract and help you make more sense of it. Make sure you cover. Educate on what insurance or bonding are needed before bidding. Goes back a little bit about the contract, right? Make sure you understand what insurances are required, what type of bonding are required before submitting a bid, right? You're just not gonna go in there and start fixing a car without knowing what is wrong, without having done a diagnostic of a car, right? Otherwise, you're just probably gonna end up breaking even more or wasting your time, that you fixed the wrong part, right? Not being prepared or ready to can lead to contract termination. So again, it goes back to read and understanding the contract. Like I mentioned, not being prepared or ready can lead to contract termination. California is growing, more money is coming, help is needed. We need more small businesses get certified and help. So that's one of the last remarks they made, that they expect more money to come in with a lot of projects they have going on. More to be more specific, right? Caltrans, Department of General Services, and the high-speed rail, right? Because they were saying, especially for the high-speed rail, the longer that stays out there without being completed, the more money it's gonna cost. And so obviously they do want to make a push to make it completed sooner rather than later. So they definitely stress out that help is needed, right? There are always fighting with other government entities, taking away the ones that are already established, that they already know, and so they definitely need more small businesses to get involved and provide some help. They understand there's a lot of paperwork. The paperwork is hard. There's a lot of process. There's a longer process. So also they also need the input from this small community, from the small business community, to see how that process can be streamlined, right? To see how can that process can actually be actualized to or times now that we have computers and systems, while staying safe, right? Staying protected for everybody, for government entities and for small businesses that are going to be working on these contracts. So yeah, very important, money coming in. That's the main thing I wanted to cover. The procurement section that I did. I also went and visited some of the offices and got to meet some of the representative of the some of the or legislators, right? Assemblyman Jim Fraser. Got to meet one of their representative and talk about what some of our concerns were, some of the uh, bills that were concerning our community, but also get to listen what their side, right? Get to listen what are the bills that they are looking to support, and see, hear a little bit more about the reasoning why they're supporting it, and why they're supporting something that we brought, etc. Right? Try to educate more about it. Try to collaborate everybody more about it. I also got to go and meet the office of the Senator Bill Dodds, Senator Bill Dodds, and again, same thing, right? Got to present our concerns about bills and what we support, and then got to listen to some of the concerns and bills that they're going to be supporting. So I hope this information was helpful. If you are small local business owners here in the Bay Area and would like some assistance with getting more exposure to your business online, right? Getting out of obscurity, but you don't understand how all this online thing works, how social media works, or websites, or putting advertising online, but you understand the importance of marketing online nowadays. I have a phone. Everybody has a phone nowadays, so it's very important to start getting involved into that real estate, right? Newspapers, magazines, all that is important. Having signs out there, all that's important, but how can you also get into this other space, which the online space, right? Social media, websites, and all that stuff. So if you do need help with that, again, my name is Leo. You can text me or call me 707-410-0307. You can visit my website, digitaltrack.co. All right, have a good one. Bye.